Welcome back to the GPLama YouTube channel, where I hope you've had some great time off over the holiday period and where I'm kicking things off in the new year with the latest Zwift updates, and then we'll get stuck into the PEAK ZWIFT 2024 guessing game. Something we do every year with a few familiar faces, where we try and guess the most concurrent users we'll see on Zwift logged in at once, and that usually occurs in the next 2 weeks or so. All right, before getting to that, let's cover the updates that are rolling out this week. Game Launcher version 1.1.1, all the ones. This was released back in November as a manual download. This week, it's being pushed out automatically to both Mac and PC. Not much new for this one, but when I did mention to Mrs. Lama that this was the one single changelog, she let out a yay, so I guess it is a problem, or has been a problem for some. They fixed an issue where it didn't retain username and passwords between sessions for some Zwifters. That's on Windows. Over on Mac, they fixed an error message about not being able to launch Zwift, even though it did launch successfully. Some confusion there with the launcher that has been resolved. Now, as I said, that launcher will now update automatically on Mac and PC, or Mac and Windows. So if you have had something pop up extra this week with the update, that's what it would have been. Okay, game update version 1.56 has also rolled out. Now, even though it has been the holiday period, they have done a few little updates here that are worth noting. Kicking off with added the ability to dismiss event results from the Zwift companion, and they state here that this one's for those of you who are running Zwift on a device that is out of reach. Apple TV comes to mind, where typically your Apple TV will be way over there. You'll have that, crappy remote from the Apple TV and the Zwift companion app. So now you can do a little bit more with the Zwift companion app to interact with that. Once again, it's possible to mix and match the Zwift Buffalo and Zwift safety bikes and frames and wheels. A very, very stylish combo, which I believe Zwift legend Scotty Weiss was the pioneer of. Since then, quite a few of us have been rolling around on those Buffalo bikes with the zip, I think it's the 808 and the disc at the back. Very stylish. There's been a few updates to the drop shop and just some rearranging of the deck chairs, so to speak, with drops and different unlocks. There's been some power-up tuning, and one of the updates that does stand out to me, because it was something that I did request in my last update video, is that the post-ride streaks screen now has a skip button. So you don't have to wait for the results to load, the information to come up on screen for you to finish your ride. You can hit skip and away you go. Now, following on from there, down the list, lots of fixes and small updates, and a number of crash or potential crash fixes too, which I'm sure would be widely welcomed. So not much more to it, and as expected coming out of the holiday season, I'm sure we'll see a few more meaty updates in subsequent weeks or months from Zwift. Okay, now let's get on to the fun part, the PEAK ZWIFT guessing game for 2024. Now, over the next 2 Tuesdays in January is typically when we see the most users logged in at once to Zwift. We call that PEAK ZWIFT, and that has historically occurred at 6 PM GMT, so UK time on a Tuesday. In past episodes of the Zwiftcast, Simon, Nathan and myself would give our estimates, and the following episode would crown the winner. Now, the Zwiftcast is no longer, but I've kept the PEAK ZWIFT guessing game going over the last few years. Now, you'll hear the estimates from the crew in just a few seconds, but to set some previous high watermarks to see where things are at, we'll go over the historical data that we have. So 2018, we saw just over 8,500 people logged into Zwift at once. That was the highest number of people logged into Zwift way back in the day. 2019, 13,064. 2020, 19,720. Now, we had a bit of a COVID bump there in April 2020, so 34,954. We saw another high watermark set in 2021 in early January with 49,114. And in the 2 following years, we saw a little bit of a decline there, 42,199 in 2022, and in 2023, 40,039. And with my guess of 38,888, I won last year's competition. So what are our estimates for 2024? Now, unfortunately, Simon at Zwiftcast Schofield couldn't get himself in front of a camera in time for me to record this video, but he did send over a number, that number being 45,505. So that's Simon's guess for PEAK ZWIFT 2024. Word has it Simon still doesn't have the Tron bike either. All right, let's hear from Eric from Zwift Insider and Nathan from Zwift Community Live and their guesses.
This year, when I started putting together my PEAK ZWIFT prediction, I did it in the same way I have in past years. I looked at past year's stats, looked at current stats, every number I had access to, came up with a number, and then it hit me. That approach has not worked for me in past years. So instead, this year, I decided I would travel to Scotland. And right here in the mystical roundabout, I met with a druid, and I asked him, "Sir, what will PEAK ZWIFT be in 2024? And he told me. The answer is 45,678. That's right, my friends. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right, everybody, that time of year, PEAK ZWIFT. I hear we've got predictions in from Zwift Insiders Eric Schlange. We've got predictions in from Simon, even though we don't get any video as he's out still chasing his Tron bike and finally have signed up for it in real life, it seems. And I just want to caveat this entire competition that Shane has been tracking the trends, and it is completely unfair and the bias of the information that he has, but he's done his homework, so good on him that he has kept this going, and rightfully so, that he would have that advantage since he has been doing the work. But I'm hearing we had around 42,000 last week, which has kicked off the competition again. Simon came in with around that 45,000 or so, which is right around where I was going to shoot for, and he got to it first before me. I'm going to go then rather than undershoot him, and I'm not going to price is right him by $1 more or $1 less. We'll just go with a 46,124. Going to get a little bit optimistic with an extra 4K on top of it or so. And come on, Zwifters, help me out here. Where do I find you extra 1,000 you out there? So to win this competition finally, it's a lot of fun. Always good to get the Zwiftcasters all back together. Thanks a lot, Llama. See you guys soon.
Now, hold up just one moment. GP Sheepy, Eric's from Northern California, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Right. And their laws around cannabis usage are quite relaxed?
Yeah, they are, actually.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
No reason. Maybe the Druids, but no, never mind. Okay, so the crew's guesses for this year. Simon coming in at 45,505. Eric from Zwift Insider coming in at 45,678. Good to see the Druids can count in sequential numbers there. And Nathan coming in at 46,124. Now, in the past, I've had some great success using numbers that repeat. So 3, 8, 8, 8, 8. And by success, I mean, well, I fluked last year's win. So I'm sticking with that theme, going for 44,444. For no other reason than, well, if it's less than that, I'm still going to win. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on what PEAK ZWIFT may be for 2024. Now, last Tuesday was already pretty high, hitting a high watermark of 42,452, surpassing the last 2 years already. Will it go higher? I'd love you to comment below with your estimate. Let's see who can get nearest the pin. Alrighty, and with that, that's a wrap on my first video for 2024. Let's hope this year is a good one for everyone, and I shall see you soon. Thanks for watching.